So over the last year, I've had a lot of fellow classmates want to become an online teacher and they're looking for information. So I hope this series helped you out a little bit. So part one today, we're going to talk about what you need to have in order to become an online teacher. So first off, you need to have a current teaching certificate. Most of the online schools don't really care which state you're certified in. You just have to have current certifications. You do want to make sure that you have everything up to date and you have an actual teaching certificate as a PDF file. You'll be able to show them when they do your online interview. The second thing you need is a clear background check. Of course, that's self-explanatory, and that's a rule, in any state in the United States, you have to have a clean background check. You need references. Hopefully, that is a fellow colleague at the last school you were at, or maybe an admin. You can use reference letters, but they're also going to want to reach out and talk to someone too. You need a resume, and I'm going to cover the resume in a different part of the series, but on the resume, you would add your references there. You need a computer with a minimum of 8 gigabytes. And I had to learn that the hard way because I went through the interview process and you're having to, of course, Zoom with them online. And if you don't have enough memory, it will cause your computer to lag. And so you can't do that. And because they're looking for someone that's going to be able to Zoom with, 60 kids in a day. And so you do need a computer that has at least 8 gigabytes, and I would recommend getting one with 12 gigabytes, so you won't even have to worry about it. You need a well lit room, and so you can see today, and I did this on purpose for this video. You can see I've got the shadow behind me, and so you can purchase actually at walmart.com, and I'll put the links down. But you've got these little ring lights, so you can change the intensity of the light, and then also it can hook on to your table, and this is going to hold your phone, which is super handy because if there's an emergency and they're trying to email you, you don't want to be looking down, texting on your phone during class. So you can have the phone held right up here, but kind of hidden, and you'll be able to see it. And so you can change and turn on the light. Whew. Okay. So it's a little bit too bright, but you can change it around. And let me show you how you can change the intensity of it. So you can't really tell in the video, but you can change the intensity and you can turn it upward so you still have the light. And if you have a dry erase board, these lights are great because your overhead light will cause a glare on the dry erase board if you have one. And the ring light, you'd be able to change it around and turn the light away from it, and you would take away the shadow. All right. The next thing is you need reliable Wi-Fi, and that's probably the most important thing ever. And so, if your Wi-Fi is just not able to stream movies and things like that, and you've had those kind of issues in the past, you may want to reach out and see if there's a different Wi-Fi carrier in your area. But you will need reliable Wi-Fi. You need a little bit of experience with Zoom. You don't have to be very experienced with Zoom, but you do need to practice with it before your first interview. And so Zoom is online to download, and you can download it for free. And what I would recommend is setting up a Zoom conference with maybe a friend or a family member, and that way you can practice a little bit back and forth with the settings. And I'm going to help you in a different video on the settings and how to make virtual backgrounds and cool things like that. But do go ahead and download Zoom and just play around with it a little bit. You need a mouse. It can be an external mouse or an internal one, and you need a mouse pad. And I know a lot of people don't like to use mouses, but you've got to understand you've got to do things pretty quick those first 10 minutes of class. So the students are coming in on the Zoom and you're trying to do attendance in a different window. And a lot of schools use Infinite Campus currently for attendance. And you will, on your screen in a different window, you're going to have a bunch of boxes, and you got to just check those boxes really fast and then get out of it. And so a mouse will really help you get that done. You need headphones with a microphone. And so I have just the cheap $14 ones from Walmart. They work just as fine, but you just have to make sure that it has a microphone. So these on. Okay. So I'm able to talk with the microphone on, and it takes out all the background noise. This is great if you're at home and you have a younger child with you and you don't want them to hear them talking, or maybe the TV is on in a different room. My husband loves to play the guitar, and so when he's at home, I'm trying to block out any kind of background noise, and I don't want the students to hear it, but I also want to be able to focus. Um, then we have some optional things that you might want to get. So, of course, I have a dry erase board. It's very helpful for me because I teach science. So, I want to draw the cell and, ask the students to help me with labeling of it. If I'm teaching density, I want to be able to do the equations on the board. So that's optional, but it's very handy. That's because that's what we're used to in the classroom. Second optional thing that I found that I think is really great. It's called XP Pen, and it's an external whiteboard. So if I'm on Zoom, when I share screen, I can actually pick this whiteboard, and it has a little pen, and I can write on it. And I'm going to show you more about that in a different series too. But I have found that it's very, very handy. You can also put notes on it so that when the students are joining the Zoom, they can see the notes. Might be little reminders for the day and things like that. And the third optional thing that I recommend, you need a second monitor. And you can use a old TV monitor, maybe that's a smart TV, or just an older monitor, and you can get a special HDMI cord that connects both computers together. The reason for that is when you're in Zoom, and let's just say you're showing a slideshow, and it will minimize all of the photos of all the participants on the side, but it's really hard to see them, especially if you're getting going and you're going over the PowerPoint. So that second monitor could make all of their faces larger all across the screen, and you'd be able to see if someone has their hand up or if there's something wrong. A lot of times when you're an online teacher, there'll be an aide in the classroom, and sometimes the aide will come to the screen, and unless you notice it, they're going to have to wait till you get done talking. And so it's nice to see on that second monitor, okay, she's trying to get my attention. I need to stop for a second. What's going on? And she may be saying, hey, there's a fire drill. We have to go. So we want to be able to see all the students and the aides that are there, the staff on campus. And that second monitor is very, very helpful. Another reason is a lot of schools have something called Go Guardian now. And Go Guardian is a program where you're able to look at what the students are looking at. So it actually gives you 30 little screens on your screen. You can see each student's actual screen that they're looking at. So if they're watching music videos on YouTube, you'd be able to tell if, let's just say, John is watching a music video. So, and you can privately message that student in the Go Guardian and say, hey, let's pay attention. You can also close their windows. So if they have multiple windows on YouTube open, you can actually manually go in there and close them out. It's pretty cool. So I'll show a little bit more about Go Guardian later, but a lot of schools are heading that way to keep engagement. So again, that second monitor would definitely be needed. Otherwise, you'd have to stop sharing screen and go look at the monitors, then share screen again. And so it's just really helpful. So, all right, well, I hope this video helps people make that decision. If you're on the fence, if you want to leave the classroom and head home to do some online teaching, I want to tell you in my mind when this all started, I thought, oh, great, I'll get to be home and I'll get to cook and be with my kids more. But it still has the same you still have to turn in lesson plans, and you still have to take attendance. So a lot of the things that maybe that you disliked in the school, you still have to do it. We still have to do faculty meetings. We just do them by Zoom. We still have, TEKS, and TEKS is a teacher, improvement program. We still have to complete online classes for credits. So a lot of that still will be there. And I just want to make sure everyone understands that. But I do enjoy being at home, of course. It's more comfortable, of course. You can have a space heater underneath your desk if you want to. I have it fixed where I am facing the outdoors, and we have some bird feeders out there. So it's more relaxing. So I do recommend it, of course. I do think right now, because of COVID, a lot of us are scared and worried about the cleaning factors in the classrooms and just in general contact with the children. And so it kind of gives you a relief being at home also. But the jobs part is still there. You still have to do a lot of the tedious things, but there's a lot of Wi-Fi issues. For example, I taught a class yesterday that was in Texas, and I'm in Georgia, and they were not able to connect. They would connect and they'd leave me and they'd come back. So you can't get discouraged. Sometimes that happens. There was a really bad storm in Texas yesterday. So just understand that there will be days when the Wi-Fi will be kind of sketchy, and you just kind of have to work on the fly. And there's different programs you can use, and I will again talk about those in a different series too, like Nearpod, which is interactive lessons. And you can find ways around when the issue of Wi-Fi not working. You can fix it so the students can go in at a different time and complete the assignment and look at the slideshow. So there's ways around it, but I just want you to understand that it's not all flowers and wonderful every day, that you still are doing those tedious tasks of the meetings and attendance, but then you are able to be more free and do fun lessons. And you're not spending a lot of your own money on labs. As a science teacher, one year I counted up that I'd spent almost $3,000 on supplies for the students because our school didn't have it. So you're not having to do that. You just have your own supplies, and um, I have containers near me that has everything close by, like glue sticks and markers and things like that. And so to me, I do prefer it, definitely. So, but let me know if you have any questions, and you can put messages down in the comments. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later on the next video.